Call the October 22nd council meeting to order. Interim Chief Martin, would you give the invocation, please?
I would, John. Heavenly Father, together tonight, we thank you for our health and our ability to be here. I ask you to examine our hearts tonight, Father, and fill us with your wisdom so that our efforts will bring glory to you and you alone. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Chief Hawkins, would you lead us in the pledge?
Yes, Your Honor. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk will call the roll.
Taylor,
Here.
Peterson,
Present.
Lease,
Present.
Heckmaster,
Present.
Snow,
Here.
Barlow,
Here.
Cossey,
Here.
Schrader.
Here.
Move on to reading and consideration of minutes of the previous meeting.
I'd move that we adopt the minutes as presented in the packet.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to accept the minutes as presented. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We've got a couple of proclamations tonight. If the guys from CWNP would come up.
All right, whereas Jake Brenner, Scott Dodolski, Jeff Moore, Chris Perry, James Pittman, and Noah Smith exhibited exemplary behavior in representing Carthage Water and Electric Plant and citizens of Carthage as participants in the Missouri Public Utility Alliance Mutual Aid Program. And whereas they quickly volunteered to assist the community of Blackman, Louisiana, Tallahassee, Florida, and Orlando, Florida, after hurricanes crossed through the areas and caused severe damage to their electrical systems. And whereas they exemplified the spirit of sacrifice, hard work, promoting the characteristics valued by Carthage Water and Electric Plant and the city of Carthage, and whereas they brought recognition and honor to themselves and to the reputation of Carthage Water and Electric Plant and the city of Carthage. Now, therefore, let it be resolved that our community and the city of Carthage extends its heartfelt thanks and appreciation this 22nd day of October 2024 to Jake Brenner, Scott Dodolski, Jeff Moore, Chris Perry, James Pittman, and Noah Smith. Whereas the city of Carthage, Missouri is home to the beloved Maple Leaf Festival, an event that has brought joy, tradition, and a sense of community to our residents and visitors for many years. And whereas the success of the Maple Leaf Festival would not be possible without the dedicated efforts of the Carthage Chamber of Commerce, whose vision, planning, and hard work have made this annual celebration a cornerstone of our community. And whereas the unwavering commitment and collaboration of the city of Carthage's employees, including those from various departments such as Public Works, Parks and Recreation, Public Safety, have ensured that the Maple Leaf Festivals run smoothly and safely for all to enjoy. And whereas the Maple Leaf Festival brings together families, friends, and neighbors, fostering a sense of unity and pride in our city, while also highlighting the rich history, culture, and spirit that makes Carthage a unique and vibrant place to live, work, and visit. Now, therefore, I, Dan Reichner, City of Carthage, do hereby extend our deepest gratitude and appreciation to the Carthage Chamber of Commerce and the City of Carthage employees for their dedication, hard work, and commitment to making the Maple Leaf Festival a resounding success year after year.
All right. We'll move on to public comments. Anyone wishing to address the council, step to the podium, state your name and address, and please keep it to 5 minutes.
Hello.
Well, hi.
Well, I'm overwhelmed. Julie Reams with the Carthage Chamber of Commerce. That was not expected at all. So thank you so much. I just came really to say thank you and say we have all survived the Maple Leaf Festival. From the resounding success of our local businesses, it's clear that they had a fantastic week and an incredibly prosperous Saturday, with many even selling out of their goods. The Chamber sincerely thanks everyone who made the Maple Leaf Festival a success. The hard work from all of our volunteers, the police, fire, and streets, to the Parks Department. Abby, your crew was absolutely amazing on Saturday. I cannot thank them all enough. It was they helped so much, and I'm so grateful for not the trash explosion. It was it was great. The Carthage Water and Electric for all of their help with all the banners and their assistance with multiple events. That did not go unnoticed. We may spearhead this annual event, but it's a collective effort of all of us that makes it a memorable tradition for families and visitors. Your approvals and hard work make it possible for us to host 9 days of activities that brought thousands of people to Carthage. So with that, I thank you very much. We're already working on 2025 and look forward to your continued support and partnership for years to come. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor.
Good evening. How are you?
Ron Wells, 2026 South Maple, Carthage, Missouri. Like to try and stick to the rules. First, I got something I gotta say. I had to ask my God for forgiveness on Sunday due to having a shouting conflict in the middle of the street in front of my house with Mr. Bill Shears. Wasn't right, shouldn't have happened, because two wrongs don't make a right. So, that being said, I apologize for that part. I had a meeting with the safety committee last night, and me and my wife came, and we discussed the possibility of getting a four-way stop. I discussed wanting to see the speed limit reduced throughout the whole town on residential streets only. Not your Grand, not your Garrison, not your Central, Centennial, those streets. I'm talking about within the residential area. My concern is not just for my street, and it's not just for the kids there. My concern is for kids throughout the whole city. It's gonna be furthered or sent over to the Works Department. I'll be seeing you on the first Tuesday, along with Zeb Carney and what have you, to further discuss it and try and come up with some more detailed information. So instead of going any depth into that, I'm not gonna read my whole speech I had on that. Second, tonight, council needs to consider a change in our city charter. Starting that unless you live within a district or a ward, you should not have a right to submit a petition trying to take our votes away from us. This would ensure that each ward would be protected from outside intervention from individuals outside your ward. In other words, if you did not have a vote on placing an individual on this council, you shouldn't have a vote to take them off. Last, I want to read something, and this came from my Bible. Watch out that no one deceives you. We need to be careful about things that are going on. And you need to make sure you're not intimidated or deceived. Make sure you get the truth. Make sure you research and get your facts yourself. For many will come in my name, claiming I'm the Messiah, and will deceive many. Also in verse 7, Matthew chapter 24, nations will rise against nation and kingdoms against kingdom. And we got a small nation and kingdom just here in Carthage. But to the one who stands firm to the end will be saved. Mr. Snow, Tiffany, and Jana, and other members of this council, me and my wife stand with you in your endeavor to do what is right for the citizens of Carthage. You know, we're coming up on a big election for this nation, things for the city, all kinds of amendments. I encourage people to step back and do their research where they cast their votes. Thank you, and I appreciate it, Mr. Mayor. Thank you all.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Good evening. Most of you probably know me as my legal name is Kathleen Gilpin. I live at 100 East 4th Street, the building with the signs in the window. I'm only here to talk to you tonight because I believe we really need to keep Miss Cossey. I think that she follows the sunshine laws, that she is fiscally responsible, and she's following the charter. And I really am upset that a couple of men who don't like her. I mean, this is a personality thing just like it is with Donald Trump. It's a personality thing, and it's wrong. Miss Cossey has never done anything for anybody to do this to her. And I can't vote for her, but I sure can support her, support that vote. And I've had those signs in my window through Maple Leaf and everything else, and they'll be there till the 7th if I can keep them there. And so, thank you very much for all the hard work you're doing, and keep it up.
Good evening. My name's Ed Hardesty. I live at 615 Euclid. I guess it's my turn to mouth off tonight. I come here tonight to address a troubling and concerning issue. We were told that the signatures that we gathered in support of the recall would remain confidential. Apparently that was a misread, and they were supposed to be treated with the same respect as a single ballot, secret ballot. Now it appears the signatures have been made public, which I understand is the right way to do it. Since this release, we've received calls from people who are being targeted and harassed by those opposed to the recall. These individuals are bullying signers into publicly, but luckily not privately, retracting their support. even pressuring them to claim that they were forced to sign the petition just to get some peace. This is supposed to be a free country, a country where the First Amendment guarantees every citizen the right of free speech, including political speech. And yet, this rogue government has not only undermined these protections, but also targeted our proposed fire chief, telling him that the fact that he exercised his political free speech is the reason that he won't be promoted. Now, it appears they're using a voter list to intimidate those who signed the petition in good faith, using their power to crush the very rights they swore to protect. This kind of behavior is not only dangerous, it's hypocritical, and it needs to stop immediately. What we are witnessing is a blatant violation of civil rights, a violation of the Missouri State Constitution and the Constitution of the United States. Our voices should never be silenced through fear or intimidation. And I ask all of you to stand strong, to stand together, and to fight for the principles that make this country great. Let us make it clear that no government, large or small, should ever weaponize its power against the people. Not here, not now, not ever.
Hi. Good evening, members of the City Board. My name is Amy Anderson, and I am from the Carthage Humane Society. I'm the new director. Thank you for the opportunity to speak on behalf of the Carthage Humane Society. Our mission is to protect and care for vulnerable animals has never been more urgent, yet we face unprecedented challenges that threaten our ability to continue this critical work. As you know, animal welfare is a reflection of the heart and compassion of our community. However, without immediate intervention, we risk losing the support infrastructure that allows us to rescue, rehabilitate, and find homes for animals in need. We are at a financial breaking point. Rising operational costs, including medical care, food, utilities, and staff wages, has stretched our resources to their limits. Despite these challenges, we continue to give our best to the animals in our care, but we cannot do it alone. The Humane Society's existence and the services we provide to the city, whether it's preventing stray overpopulation, supporting local pet owners, or ensuring public safety through responsible animal management, are at risk. We are asking the city for increased funding to help bridge this gap. We are also going beyond that and asking and calling upon the citizens of Carthage to join us. Monthly donations, no matter the size, provide a lifeline to sustain our operations. Volunteers and advocates are equally vital, and with more people involved, we can spread the load and extend our reach. Additionally, we need leadership to help guide us through these difficult times. We are seeking a new board president, as well as committed community members to volunteer their time and expertise. Fundraising is essential to our survival, and with dedicated individuals leading and supporting these efforts, we can secure the future of the Humane Society. We urge anyone with a passion for animals and the welfare of our community to consider joining our board and participating in fundraising activities. Together, we can make a lasting difference. In many ways, the Humane Society is a cornerstone of the community. We see it every day when a lost pet is reunited with its owner, or when a scared, neglected animal finds a new chance at life. We ask you to consider the positive impact the Humane Society has had on Carthage and to take action now before it's too late. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Deborah Hummel, and I'm at 13691 County Road 110. On Saturday, October 12th, Carthage Fire Department was called out to our farm, to what began as a controlled burn on our pasture. A number of pumper trucks came out, as well as several firefighters. 3 hours and several gallons of water later, they were able to get it under control. I watched from my kitchen window, and I saw just how skilled our firefighters are. They work very hard to get our pasture under control. As I stood there, I couldn't help but think about how blessed we were to have them there, working so tirelessly for our farm. I'll never forget what I saw and how they worked together as a well-oiled machine. Some of you may be saying, well, that's their job, but we all probably know that there are ones that don't perform at 100% on the job. And you weren't there to witness what I did. They fought like that property was theirs. They gave all they had and more. They put their heart and soul into it, and I am confident they do this every time they're called out. As I stood there watching, my heart broke for them, and tears came to my eyes. Carthage Fire Department fights and gives their all to the city of Carthage and surrounding area. My question tonight is, why isn't a select few fighting for them? What is holding back the approval of Jason Martin? He is currently the interim fire chief, and if hired, he would be on probation for 1 year. He is qualified and has an enormous amount of experience, and he is also well liked by his peers. So I am curious to know why Jason Martin's nomination by our mayor was not accepted by Carthage City Council. Is this a political game? Is this a power play? Is this a personal agenda? Just because someone isn't liked by a few of the powers that be does not preclude them from doing their duties and doing them well. The City of Carthage Fire Department stands behind Carthage and its people 100%. Why doesn't Carthage City Council stand behind and support our firefighters and their fire department? Please, stop playing with their lives. Thank the Lord that they don't play with ours. And by the way, if anyone's wondering, I do not know Jason Martin. I've never met him, and he was not one of the firefighters on the farm that day. But I've done my research, and I've seen many council meetings. Carthage City Council, it's time to deny your feelings and give the city of Carthage the very best. Give us Jason Martin.
My name is Tom Nixon. I live at 2444 South County Lane 124, Carthage. I have 2 dates I'd like to talk to you about. First date was November of 2004. When I was at the fire department, I had a firefighter who decided to go out one night, and he was with some buddies in a pickup truck. They drove around town. They decided to pull off on the side of the road in a neighborhood. They got out of the truck. 2 of them got out of the back of the pickup truck, went, grabbed a small bench and a pumpkin off of somebody's front yard, threw it in the back of the truck, took off down the road. Needless to say, somebody got a license number off the truck. Next morning, I'm on duty. I get a call from one of our police officers, comes to the fire department, says, hey, one of your guys was involved in stealing a pumpkin and a little bench about this big. Wasn't worth $10, the whole thing. So I called the guy in, called the other battalion chief in, say, hey, did you take this bench? Did you? He said, well, I didn't take it, but I was driving the truck. Yeah, I know it was taken. I said, well, you got 2 choices. You can either resign today, or we're going to terminate you. So through the public, or through the personnel board, we talked to them, talked to the mayor, everything. He did decide to go ahead and resign, so we got his resignation for stealing just a little old, wasn't $5 worth of stuff is what he stole, but still, he's held at a higher standard in this fire department, and every person in this whole area right here is held at a higher position. Date number 2, June of 2010, Had another firefighter, he goes to work for a carpet company on his days off, goes over to Kansas, working for a carpet company at school. Decides to go in there, he's working around in there, he looks up on the ceiling, there's a projector up there. Puts a sign up there that says out of service, reaches up, takes the projector off, puts it under his arm, walks out of the school with it. But he forgets he's got a Carthage Fire Department t-shirt on. We get a phone call, say, hey, got a guy, who's the guy that works for the carpet company? We find out who he is, call him in. I talked to him the same way. I said, hey, did you take the projector? He said, yeah, I took it. I took it back. I already took it back. I said, but did you take it? He said, yes. I said, you got two choices. You either resign or you're going to be terminated today. He wrote his letter of resignation out today, that day, and we went ahead and accepted the resignation. Now let's jump forward to 2 weeks ago. We have the same situation. Ms. Cossey takes a political sign out of a neighbor's yard. I don't care how big it is, how small it is, whatever. Takes this sign out of somebody's and puts it in her trunk of her car. Police are called, however that all went down. She admits doing it. She admitted on Facebook. She's admitted it to several other people. She also says, if hindsight was 20/20, I wouldn't have done that. I would have not have taken the sign. I would have easily just lied and told them I hadn't seen it. Well, my two firefighters that I had to fire, if hindsight was 20/20, I'm sure they would have said the same thing. I wouldn't have taken the dadgum items that they took. But they did. They took the items and they paid the price. She took the items and she should pay the price. She should be held at the same level as what every employee in this city is. If that same incident would have happened with a fireman, a policeman, in today's terms, right today, stealing the sign, doing the whole thing, they would have been terminated. No questions asked, terminated. That's a fact. But what do? We're all sitting in here wondering whether or not we're going to get rid of her. I don't even know if you guys are or not. But the point is, if you don't either ask for her resignation tonight or terminate her, then how in the world are you ever going to fire another employee in this city? The fire department, police department, street department, public works, or even Carthage Water and Electric? How are you ever going to do it? Is this the precedence we're going to set? That we're going to let somebody, well, it was just a little item. Wasn't anything very big. Let's just let it go this time. I mean, what are we going to do? The exact same scenario is always out there. And then she and several other council people have said that Chief Martin demonstrated bad judgment. How can we trust his decision-making as being the fire chief? Because he was in on a legal recall. Everything he had is his constitutional right to do what he did. Well, let me tell you, Ms. Cossey definitely demonstrated bad judgment. How can we trust her to do city council work? So I think you need to go into a closed session and say, listen, we need to either terminate or we need to take a resignation tonight. There's no other way to handle this thing. Otherwise, you've set a new precedent for the whole city. Thank you.
I was not planning on speaking necessarily here, but listening to some of this, my name is Patrick Scott. I live at 5305 County Road 175, outside of city limits, people. I know that's been a big topic, but I also own a building in town in Ward 5, commercial building, right? So 2443 Fair Lawn Avenue, Carthage, Missouri. Anyway, Tom, I'm gonna shake your hand. I appreciate you talking, okay? I respect your views, but I'm gonna read something that's a friend of mine, Kyle Eidemann, I went to school with. He is a minister at a mega church in, I believe, Louisville area. But something he posted here was, the Holy Spirit is always calling us to greater unity, and it's underlined, unity. Not necessarily greater uniformity. We're all meant to look more like Jesus. That doesn't mean we all look 100% like one another. Our country is great because we all have different views. We come from different backgrounds. We come from different economic things. We have life that happens, some horrible things, right? But, you know, Tom put his view out there, and I respect it. You know what? I'm not going to go on Facebook and trash him and say all this different stuff. Right now, we are a town that is crazy divided. Dan Rife, Mayor Rife, we need some leadership. We sure do. That is absolutely right. And also, there's just, it's okay to have different views. It's sad to see that, you know, what's labeled as the other page, Kirk Friesen takes credit as he is the sole admin for, that is calling patriarchs like a Bill Putnam that sits on the Steadley Trust. That is some horrible thing, I guess. Calls him old. Calls him, he hasn't done anything for this town. What have we gotten to here? You don't have to love the man, but seriously, Steadley Trust has given millions and millions to our town, okay? But, you know, I've also asked for some unity here. I've asked for Bill Scheer. You can look it on Facebook. He is definitely one of the guys that thinks differently than I do. I don't hate him for it. I respect him for that. I respect that he went and did the recall because that's a right. Do I agree with it? No, but that's a right. Good for him to get his rear out there and work hard at it, right? But it's one of those, at this point, our town doesn't need to be who's right, who's wrong. We need to talk about this. There's so many rumors out there, right? For instance, I have said, he specifically, Bill Scheer, specifically said, I sit on Broadview Investment Club. I'm one of the 25 members. And there's lies out there about we somehow are going to buy this $6 million property. Bill Scheer, okay, that's different than what we did here. But anyway, but what I have asked Bill Scheer is, let's get together. You've been one of the vocal ones. You've been one of the ones on the other side. I've been one of the vocal ones on the other side. Kirk, let's get you together, me together, Bill Putnam together, and let's live stream this thing, and let's talk about this. Let's talk about our differences without calling each other stupid or whatever names it is that's out there. But we need some healing, people, and I think it's time. So, lastly, I'm going to say, you know, Janice Schramm, I appreciate your leadership. We have a young lady that came up, that's the director at the Humane Society. You gave up your money that you've earned from council. That did resonate with me, saying, hey, I'm taking my money here and putting my money where my mouth is, and I'm going to give it to the shelter. They need our help, right? Thank you for doing that. Tiffany, you know what? They're going to not love this, but there's a lot of noise about you right now. You know, the signs, I asked people just to read your explanation. Tom gave his explanation. That's his right, absolutely. And then people make up your own mind on it. Make up your own mind. But all of you, thank you for serving on council, because you have guts to do it. Not everyone will do it, right? It's hard, and people ridicule you all the time, right? But thank you for serving. Appreciate it. So.
Karen Trotter, 615 Euclid Boulevard, Carthage. I think it's impressive that Mr. Scott is working so hard to try and get people together to talk. It reminds me of back in April when Miss Leese sat here and begged you people to sit down and have a conversation. She asked for negotiation repeatedly. She's also been not treated very well by a lot of you, but that's kind of not the point right at the moment. People up here are the people who need to be negotiating. It's all well and good for the people back here to sit and talk, what do we do and how do we do it? But you're the governing board. If you're not willing to negotiate, if you're not willing to sit down with a mayor you have differences with, or other city council people that you have differences with, and discuss things, come up with solutions that are not, sorry, one-sided, then there's no point in anybody back here talking about it, because that's just talk. They can't do anything to resolve these issues. The vote might not. Nobody knows. It's all up to the voters. But I just think it's worth pointing out that we have some city council people that have tried to talk and they've been shut down, and that's sad.
All right, we'll move on to report of standing committees. Budget, Ways and Means, Chairman Snow.
Thank you. Budget Ways and Means Committee met here in council chambers on October 14th. First item on our agenda was we discussed the ARPA funds and that those funds needed to be expended by the end of October.
Expended or obligated
Or
by the end of the calendar year.
Right, so Ms. Cox talked to us about transferring some of the budgeted items from other accounts into the ARPA funds, and some of the ARPA funds that we had budgeted into other accounts so that they would comply with the federal government's need to get that money obligated or spent by the end of October. Nothing was added. They were either already purchased or budgeted to be purchased this year. So it was a financial transaction that the budget committee needed to make a decision on. We also discussed sales tax revenues. Sales tax is down again this month, about a little over 7%. Year to date, it's still up almost 3%. Use tax is down again this month, almost a little over 4%. Year to date, down almost a little over 14%. And the marijuana tax was up this month, almost a 75% increase over our highest month since we've been collecting it. So we're not exactly sure what happened in August, but we believe that there was some type of an event that generated a lot of marijuana tax. Also, Ms. Costi brought to the committee, and the committee approved. It will still need to go through the process of being on a council bill, but we approved a budget adjustment for the I-49 roundabout for $95,000. And by making this budget adjustment, we'll be able to reduce the road closure to connect the roundabout from 8 weeks to 1 week. And so it still needs to go through the council bill and the public works project amendment and all those types of things. But we did approve that $95,000 for that budget adjustment. Tonight on our agenda, we have Council Bill 2452, which is a budget adjustment that we picked up at our previous meeting. And then our next meeting will be on November 11th at 5:30 here in council chambers. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Committee on Insurance, Audit and Claims, Chairperson Cossey.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Just one quick amendment. I think Mr. Snow accidentally said my name when he meant Ms. Cox. She was the one who brought the budget adjustment.
Oh, yeah, Ms. Cox, I'm sorry.
So just for clarification there. So for the Committee on Insurance Audit and Claims, we met this evening in council chambers at 5:30. We approved claims of $2,414,871.22. One of the, or actually the major thing that we discussed was the Peachtree Community Improvement District, and that is on the agenda for later tonight, so we'll discuss that more later. And then the next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, November 12th, here in council chambers at 5:30 p.m.
All right, thank you. Public Safety Committee Chairperson Heckmaster.
The Public Safety Committee met at 5:30 p.m. Monday, October 21st, here in council chambers. We heard from residents Ronnie and Regina Wells regarding vehicles traveling at excessive speed on the 2000 block of South Maple. Their concern is for all who live in this area and especially for small children. The Wells first presented this information during the August 19th Public Safety Committee meeting. In the August meeting, we discussed placing a four-way stop at the intersection of Maple and Southside and at Main and Southside. First, however, we decided to do a study of those who might be speeding a bit. The committee and Police Chief Bill Hawkins discussed several options in this recent meeting, settling upon a four-way stop at the intersections of Maple and Southside, as well as Main and Southside. I wish to assure our community that we all want to protect our children and hope the four-way stop signs will eliminate concerns. If it doesn't, I'm sure we'll revisit. Next, we heard from Gary McLemore of GNR Carriage Rides. He offered carriage rides last year during the holiday season and will do so this year as well. Scheduled dates for the rides will tentatively begin the night the lights are turned on in the park and will be held each week on Monday, Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday evenings through December 30th. In the case of inclement weather, operations will cease. If the demand is there, they may also offer rides on Sunday or holiday evenings. They will not operate the night of the Christmas parade. The route will begin in the parking lot of First Methodist Church. He has designed the experience to be simply delightful with more lights than those offered on the Country Club Plaza carriages, and he even diapers his horses. While no formal action was needed, the committee wished him well. Mark Spinagle, Christmas Parade Chair, shared plans for the Carthage Christmas Parade, which will occur Monday, December 2nd, 2024, beginning at 7 p.m. This year's theme is Holiday Movie Magic. The parade is brought to our community by Carthage Skills USA Chapter, which is a youth organization made up of high school students who are enrolled in classes at the Carthage Tech Center. The parade will follow the same approximate 1-mile route as in years past. There will be trophies for the first place winners in each category. The entry fee is only $30, with the entry deadline of Wednesday, November 13th. Mr. Spinagle noted that in case of inclement weather, the parade may be delayed 1 week. As requested, the Public Safety Committee approved several streets be closed from 5 to 8 p.m. I'm going to share these streets in a formal motion as follows. I move that the following streets be closed from 5 to 8 p.m. on December 2nd, 2024. The intersection of Chestnut and Main, 1 block east to Grant Street and 1 block west to Lyon Street. South on Main Street to 11th Street, 1 block east and west to Grant Street to Lyon Street. This includes the intersections of 9th and 10th Streets. And the closure of the Carthage Square, both inside and outside the square.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for road closures as outlined in the motion for the Christmas parade on December the 2nd between the hours of 5 and 8 p.m. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
The committee discussed traffic concerns during Fairview School Pickup. Holly Goodnight and Chief Hopkins have discussed this issue and are working on it together. Meeting held earlier today with participants meets an important need in our community. The need is urgent. The city is working to determine, Ms. Cox is working to determine what else we can do, but I encourage everyone in the city that can to help our Humane Society. I've never seen such enthusiasm in a director, besides perhaps our director of the chamber, as I've seen with Amy Anderson, who is acting in that position until they hire someone else. So please donate. Acting Fire Chief Jason Martin provided several updates of note for the new engine. We're waiting on the delivery of some specialized equipment, as well as fabrication work for compartments. Also, the new brush truck is still in the construction phase at Richmond in Indiana. And I would say that I know Mr. Martin has several more things to share tonight, but I will not steal his thunder on the number of people that attended the pancake feed. The next meeting of the Public Safety Committee is scheduled for 5:30 p.m. Monday, November 18th, here in Council Chambers. This concludes my report, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Public Services Committee, Vice Chair Kazi.
Yes, thank you. We're between meetings. Our next scheduled meeting is, I had actually just made a note on that. Sorry. Our next scheduled meeting is Tuesday, November 19th at 5:30 p.m. in Council Chambers. However, we are working on a special date because we have a proposal that needs to be heard prior to a grant deadline, and that will be announced as soon as we settle on that date.
All right, thank you. Public Works Committee, Chairman Taylor.
Public Works is between meetings, and our next scheduled meeting is the first Tuesday in November.
All right, thank you. Move on to report from special committees and board liaisons.
Thank you, Jana. Jana is going to report out tonight on Carthage Water and Electric, as I had a family emergency and was unable to attend. I did go to the Humane Society meeting, and we actually had it out at the facilities, and I think that was better for all of us to be out there and see that. They are in need of board members, but the one thing that struck me in the meeting was, for the first time, and I hate to admit this, ever, I'm excited about the Humane Society because I feel like they're going to do some great fundraising and do some great things. We've just got to, as a community, we've got to all work and have them get together. She's got lots of great new plans, and she's very organized and loves the animals, and I think you saw that in our meeting we had too, Terry. But the one thing that hit me hard is the majority of the co-workers out there, are you all sitting down? Yeah. Make $12.30 an hour. They don't do this job for the money. They do this job because they love those animals. And I just want people to know that it's not like we're not giving big salaries for the people out there mucking those cages and doing all the things they're doing. But that was pretty neat. Some of the fundraisers they're doing, they're setting out some boxes in town, locked boxes, at different businesses that have been great and been supportive. I found it was really nice that Blue Buffalo gives them all their dog food. They donate all the dog food. So, cat food they can use right now, just saying. And also donations. So that's all I have to report tonight.
All right, thank you.
I actually had one thing to clarify from our last meeting, which I apologize. I missed Miss Booyer on Monday, the day before our last meeting. So I can now say the Kellogg Lake Board is unable to have a meeting this month, and we'll pick back up next month. So I apologize for not getting that out at the last meeting.
Okay.
Carthage Water and Electric.
Ms. Wren.
I was at the Carthage Water and Electric Board meeting, and I have a few takeaways from it I'd like to share. They adopted a resolution in memory of Steve Beimdick, honoring his 30 years of dedicated service. Steve was an exceptional leader and a remarkable individual. His absence is profoundly felt. His guidance and wisdom is missed every day. And there were several eyes that were not dry in the board meeting when they all talked about Steve. Project updates, the $15 million Feeders 17 initiative is currently $10 million into the budget with expectations to complete the project at an estimated additional $3.5 million, which is below budget. So let's all hope that comes in below budget. They just celebrated Public Power Week, October 7th to 11th. There was a daily trivia, power plant tours, among other activities, which concluded on Friday, October 11th with customer appreciation lunch, bucket truck rides, and pole and bucket rescue, and much more that day. I went to see it, and I actually got a bucket ride, and so I can mark that off my bucket list. Lane Alexander, a 2-year lineman with CWEP, had taken me up in the air, and it was wonderful. Lane and his wife, Lainey, are expecting their second child soon, and Lane loves his company and his profession. The board also approved a resolution for mutual assistance aid in response to 3 significant incidents over the past few months, and that was the proclamation that was given earlier. These men go out voluntarily. They're not asked to go. They willingly go. They sleep in some terrible conditions, either in their truck, in some tents, on the ground. Their commitment and resilience in tough situations exemplify the spirit of cooperation that defines their organization. I asked if the men would come tonight so we could publicly thank them, and the mayor was kind enough to make the proclamation for Jason Burnett, Jeff Moore, Chris Perry, James Pittman, Noah Smith, and Steve Dudolski. And we just wanted to thank them for their service to their industry. The CWEP sponsored the chili cook-off at Maple Leaf, and it raised $1,490 for the Carthage Humane Society, so thank you very much. The Carthage, I'll talk about that later. Sparkle in the Park will have an opening night early this year on November 26th. Watch for the time. It will be the Monday before Thanksgiving, so all your company for Thanksgiving can enjoy the lights. And yes, we are told they will be as brilliant as ever. You'll never miss those trees we lost. And another thing that I had noticed, I'll just put this in with the CWEP reporting. I had asked for the city's timeline that went on last year concerning the board being fired and the mayor's report. And when going over the mayor's report, there were 2 dates that were left out because communication was so important. The 2 dates were on May 17th. Mr. Lambeth followed up with a meeting with Chuck Bryant and Mayor Reif to review the compensation process. The email stated, "I am pleased that now you and our CWEP board liaison, Mr. Snow, have a much better understanding of the process." And the mayor's response in that email was thanking Mr. Lambeth. So that one was left out of the city's timeline, and another one was left out between Chuck Bryant and Dan Reif, setting up a meeting between the two of them Tuesday, May 30th, 2023, referencing the meeting that would take place on May 31st, 2023. That was not in the timeline, and I'm thinking that may be because it was sent to the mayor's personal email and not his city email to pull off that. But I wanted to make sure that those 2 items were entered in the city's timeline. And there was another thing in there that made me wonder. It was an email from Michael Keith dated April 9th, 2024, and it was sent to Greg Dagnan. And the subject was Broadview Investment Club 3. And the email listed members of the Broadview Investment Club. So I was just wondering why this was included in the timeline packet, why there was an interest in the Broadview Country Club or Investment Club from Mr. Dagnan at that late of a date in April of 2024. It was strange to me to be in that packet. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, move on to mayor's report. Attended the CEDC meeting last week. Also some Maple Leaf events. Was lucky enough to drive in the parade Saturday morning, and I had with me a passenger in the parade this year, and I don't know how many of you remember Dave McCoy that worked at McCune Brooks for 100 years at least. He worked out there with my brother for many years. But Dave had been in consideration for the Grand Marshal, and he still wanted to ride in the parade, even though he wasn't able to do a lot of the other activities. Rather than my usual borrowed convertible with the top down, I drove the minivan with the heater on, and so Dave could be a little more comfortable. But he had a blast. He had a good time. So I was proud to be able to drive him around. Then I did go out to the car show later on, and I got to make my pick for that. Fun as always. So now we'll move on to reporter remarks, council members. Mr. Taylor, anything?
Yes, I would also like to personally thank the fellows from TWEP for volunteering. I would also like to thank Julie personally for the Maple Leaf Days and everybody that was involved. I do have one detractor that I have noticed about after the Maple Leaf Parade. If you put chairs out on the side of the road, would you please police up your trash? Because I see 2 or 3 spots where they left the biggest pile of trash you've ever seen. Just total lack of respect for public ground, the situation that you were given in order to sit there where you could have a real up close and up front view of the parade. If you're gonna sit there, police up your trash. That's all I had, Your Honor.
Okay.
I just wanted to echo Mr. Taylor and many of the sentiments this evening with all who were involved, departments, employees, etc. in Maple Leaf. Can't say enough about that. Thank you. That's just a phenomenal event. And to our water and electric guys for their selfless efforts, not only during the Maple Leaf, but going above and beyond. Just a real testament to Carthage. So thank you all.
Ms. Lees.
I just also wanted to echo, same, thank you for the CWEP guys that went and gave their time and their talents, because I was reading a very neat article about linemen and what they do and how they take their lives into their hands, and every time they are working with power, but let alone being up in buckets. And I'm jealous that you got to do a bucket ride. I had also a family situation with that whole weekend. So, but I just am thankful also for Maple Leaf and for the community that it brought. It was really fun to get out and visit with people and just to see all the excitement in town and the unity that we had, and it was very good. And Mr. Scott, several things you said tonight resonated with me, and were good, and I want to thank you for that. I do believe people have the freedom to believe what they want to do. I believe in all of that, but I also believe sometimes there's been a lot of double standards, and some are allowed to believe and some are not. And for instance, while I was in the last council meeting, I received at least 3 messages that I got when council meeting was over. One was a bit threatening, and then 2 others telling me that it didn't look good for my husband to have some political signs in his vehicle. But I am not his keeper, I'm not his owner. I have my boundaries and he has his. And a lot of mean things were said about him, and I didn't appreciate that either. He's a good guy, he has a good heart, and he has a lot of respect for multiple people, and he's been very supportive of me when I've gone home and been so mentally and physically exhausted. And it has been an exhausting few months, and I appreciate, we do have some great minds up here, and I love that. And I just wish we could have all reset, started over, and been a better team this whole time, and I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that we have not. So thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Heckmaster.
Ms. Lees, it saddens me that you were threatened. I'm sorry. And I was not someone that threatened you, but I'm still saddened and sorry that it happened. Mr. Taylor, I agree with you in regards to the trash. Several years ago, I started passing out Walmart bags to all those that are sitting along the curb in front of my house, and that has worked well. We can't thank the city staff enough, all of the various individuals and the many, many volunteers that worked to make our Maple Leaf something even more special this year than the year before. That is all for tonight, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Snow?
Yeah, I would like to thank the Water and Electric guys, not just for what they do for the hurricane mutual aid trips that they go on, because I know those are long days. Sometimes they work 12 to 14 hours a day. But I also want to thank them for what they do for our community year round. It doesn't matter if it's 120 degrees or if it's 20 below zero. Those guys are out fixing our electric lines. Those linemen are the ones that keep our electricity on. So I want to thank them for that also, besides their mutual aid trips that they go on, because I know that it's not easy for them. Unfortunately, I was out of town Saturday, so I was not able to attend the Maple Leaf parade, but it sounds like it was a great event, and that's all I have tonight.
All right, thank you. Mr. Marlowe?
Echo what everyone else said about so many good things going on, and prayerfully concerned about the division spoken of. And it's hard to, I'm trying my best to be a person of faith. It's hard to see a resolution in the natural, but I pray for it and trying to do what I can to help in that regard. I don't tend to want to do things publicly, you know, my donations to the Humane Society, I just prefer to be under the radar, and some other things that I'm ready for more resolution, as much as we can possibly have. I have been accused of things, I've been called quite a few names, and I think it comes with public service. Not trying to excuse it, but still trying my best to keep my compass true north and stick to the right things for the right reasons, and appreciate everyone doing all they can on both sides. Unfortunately, we have sides, but on all sides, contributing to that, I'm very grateful. This is a very, very special community, I love dearly, and ready for things to get better.
All right, Ms. Coffey?
Yes, so I would like to echo the sentiments that we've heard from several of our council members. I don't think I could say a thank you any better than Mr. Snow said it. So, but I would like to add my thanks for the CWEP workers, not only for what they do when they're traveling, but for their everyday service to our community. And also I'd like to echo the thanks to Julie and her team for, did she already leave? For, gosh darn it, so she'll have to watch this on video, for putting on a fantastic Maple Leaf for us. I was able to be out and about on Saturday, and it was a wonderful parade, and it's just a wonderful time for our community to come together and celebrate. My husband and I don't even sit and watch it. We walk up and down and visit with friends, and it's just a great time for everybody to come out and support each other. I also agree with Ms. Lees. It is very distressing when people are sending you messages that are not kind. I personally have an entire hate site devoted to me on Facebook, so I know exactly what you're talking about, only probably more so. So yeah, it's distressing, and it would be nice if people could be civil and would actually just reach out to you and find out what your position is on something, or to actually have a conversation rather than sending messages of hate or continually bombarding you and harassing you. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. So on to a few other items of business, because I don't know where a better place to discuss these would be. We had Miss Anderson from the Humane Society speaking, and I'm not sure, is she still with us, or has she left? Okay. So I will reach out to her. I'd like to know what the number is that she feels that they need to remain in operation. I don't know if anybody has that. I know obviously they need more funds, and they've been asking for those for a while, and I agree we need to take a look at our budget and see what we can reallocate there. So I'll make a point to reach out to her. A couple of other things. At our last city council meeting, Mr. Mayor, you had committed to setting a date for our committee, the hiring committee, to hire the city administrator, and you said you'd have a date to us by no later than Thursday of that week. We're almost 2 weeks past that deadline. Can you tell us when we will have a date for that committee to meet?
I believe we need to put a hold on that until after this impeachment stuff is over with. We've had one applicant for the tourism position. One. We generally have 30 or more, and at this point we're not able to get appointments through. Folks don't want to be appointed. Folks don't want to have anything to do with it. So let's let things calm down a little bit and.
So I'm curious, are you saying it's...
Advertise when there is a chance of getting some good applicants and some good options.
So you're saying because we've had one applicant for the tourism job that we should not be seeking a city administrator?
I'm saying that that's a job that normally we would have gotten a lot more applications for, and we haven't. And folks just do not want to come to work in a circus. So we need to get our stuff together and calm things down and have a work environment that people would want to come to work in.
And so you don't think we should even attempt to fill that position, and we should leave Ms. Cox doing 3 jobs as one person?
No, I don't think Ms. Cox is working her tail off. But at this point, we'd be just chasing our tail because we're not going to get the quality of people that we would like to have. So,
and can you tell me where have we advertised for the tourism director?
I don't know. Where all did we advertise that?
I do not know. I did not put the advertisement out. I don't have to find out.
Do you know who put the advertisement out?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so that concerns me because there are a number of times that we advertise for things, and we advertise in the Carthage Chronicle and on our website. So if those are the places where we've advertised for a tourism director, it is no wonder that we have not received applicants. And so that would be my concern. I would suggest that we convene and we advertise this so that we can at least take a shot at getting qualified applicants. At this point, it's irresponsible and it's unfair to Ms. Cox leaving her doing these 3 jobs. Also, I believe at the last council meeting, we discussed the allegations that you had made regarding the red flags, or the quote-unquote red flags that were allegedly made by the Attorney General and by the State Auditor's Office. CWEP had come forward and had said that they reached out and that neither of those entities had cited red flags, at which point you commented again that our former city attorney had made those comments, and I asked that you invite him. Did you actually invite him to this meeting?
He was invited. He's at another council meeting this evening, so.
Okay, and so did you discuss with him alternate dates when he might meet with the council?
No.
Okay, would you commit to doing that so that we can hear that information?
Sure.
Thank you. And then also, I would like to clarify, per the usual for people who take the opposite side, I've been misquoted. Mr. Nixon said that I wish I would have lied, and I would encourage everyone to go out to my city council page and read the actual statement that I made. I never said that I wish I would have lied. I said that there was never any intent to steal or take anyone else's property, and if I had intended to do that, I would have just lied and said I didn't have it. So to clarify that, once again, I've been misquoted, and I'm not sure that the misquoting was not intentional. Also, as you all know, there is a recall coming up. You get to vote for that on November 5th. I won't use my official position here to encourage you to vote one way or the other, but I will say that there is a lot of misinformation out there. I've been walking the wards, talking to my constituents, and it's amazing the rumors that they've heard from the people who came around and circulated the recall petition, at least according to them. So I would encourage you, if you are in my ward, to reach out to me. My phone number is posted on the website, and as a matter of fact, I'll say it here, 417-793-1412. That is my phone number. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. Also, my email address is t.cossey@carthagemo.gov. And so I would be more than happy to converse with you if you have any questions at all prior to this recall about the things that are coming up. I personally believe that people circulated the petition largely because they were unhappy with some of the things that have been going on. I mean, if you've been observing council comments, not to disparage any of the comments that anyone else has made, but out of everyone who's spoken so far, I'm the only one who has asked some very significant, hard-hitting questions during my council comment time. I don't think that my directness is appreciated. That's fine. I don't think that my wanting things to be done the correct way is appreciated. We've uncovered a lot of good old boys way of doing things, and I'm amazed when I'm out walking the ward talking to people. They often say, well, it's just the way things are done in Carthage. Well, you know what? The authorization of approximately $250,000 of payments without going through the right procedure, that is not just how things are supposed to be done. I've called them on it. We're going to discuss funds due from the Carthage Community from the Peachtree Village Community Improvement District. That has gone unaddressed for more than a year. I brought that up to our former city administrator, Mr. Dagnan, who was supposed to be looking into it. I never got any answers or any resolution. Ms. Cox has been excellent about following up on this. But again, I was asking uncomfortable questions because certain people didn't want to talk about it. I've opposed waste and spending. When we had a proposal for golf carts, when our current golf carts are only 2.5 years old and still have approximately 2.5 years of warranty, I discussed the wasteful spending there. I'm getting pushback from certain areas on, how dare you, not have the best golf carts.
This is really not the time for a campaign speech.
Well, this is not a campaign speech. I happen to believe that these are some of the reasons that we have hateful behavior toward me. And so what I'm saying, and one of the things that I have demanded is that a whistleblower ordinance be updated.
This is not the time for a campaign.
No, well, I'm addressing this, Mr. Mayor, because I believe that whistleblower ordinance was forwarded to you and is not on tonight's agenda. So I'm curious, this has been blocked since April. Can you tell us why?
Blocking anything.
And so it hasn't been on the agenda. It's not on the agenda, and I believe it was forwarded to you. And it was blocked back in April, and you actually took credit for blocking it back in April. When I said Mr. Dowley refused to forward it, you said, no, that was me, I refused to do that. So again, that was blocked. So I believe a lot of this hate has come because people don't want to see change, and they don't like people making waves in the world that they've come to know. And so I will wrap this up, Mr. Mayor, but I will say that whether I am here or not at the next council meeting, because the next council meeting will occur after the recall, I would encourage the existing city council members, all of the existing city council members, to continue to ask questions and make sure things are done the right way, whether or not I am still in this seat. And that is
All right, Ms. Schramm, anything?
Yes. Whew. Thank you, Ms. Cossey, for clearing some things up. I appreciate that. And the citizens should too. On October 10th, I attended ribbon-cutting ceremonies with Jeff Meredith and the Carthage Economic Development Corporation and the Carthage Chamber of Commerce. Governor Mike Parson and Missouri Senator Jill Carter were in attendance at both businesses. I just wanted to say congratulations to Fourth State Bank and Jeff Williams for bringing life into the historic building on Garrison, and much success to you. And congratulations to Specialty Risk and Tish Trish and Kevin Charleston for growing our community with 200 jobs. Jeff Meredith said that they were his first, the Carthage Economic Development, the first companies they worked with to secure local jobs and job growth. And For State Bank had the similar incentives to bring them to Carthage. And it was a wonderful event, so thank you so much for putting on the ribbon cutting. On October 15th, I attended the Missouri Municipal League Southwest Regional Meeting in Monette, and I was with Tracy Cox, the interim city administrator, Bill Hawkins, the police chief, and Miranda Deal, the city clerk. And the program centered on council procedures, roles, and responsibilities, and they do this every quarter. Is that right? Yes. And so I plan on attending the next one in Aurora. And that's it for right now. Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to administrative reports. Chief Hawkins.
Thank you, Your Honor. So as everyone has pointed out, the Maple Leaf Festival was a huge success. I agree with that. I think Julie did a fantastic job, as well as all the city departments working together. There were a few minor mishaps along the parade route, but luckily no one was seriously hurt. And with that being said, it was a huge success, and thanks to everyone that participated in working that. I would like to address, and correct me if I'm wrong, or maybe I misunderstood Ms. Heckmaster when you were giving the public safety report, and you said that we had settled on the four-way stop. I think we're going to work in conjunction with Public Works as well. Am I wrong about that?
You're exactly correct.
Okay,
apologies.
Right. Yeah. Other than that, Your Honor, I'm good.
All right, thank you. Interim Chief Martin.
Yes, sir. I want to thank everybody for supporting our pancake feed. We had 539 paid participants, and we didn't charge for kids under 5 or police officers that were working their shift that day. In pieces, 1939 Mack that was purchased new by the city back then, and he has restored it to working order, and we brought it up, and former battalion chief Tom Nixon, who had driven it previously, drove it in the parade for us, and it's a really neat truck, and we were proud to display that for the citizens. I'd like to thank both of them. I'd like to thank all of my guys in Morgan House who came in at 4 a.m. to get ready for the pancake feed. It's a lot of work to feed that many people. Well done. And Julie, we got invited the last 2 years to the Touch a Truck, and I think that part of the Maple Leaf Week was a really big success. We took 200 little fire helmets up there, and they were gone in an hour. So the last hour we didn't have any to give away. I believe that's all tonight, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. Ms. Almendinger.
Sorry. I was under the weather this weekend, so I didn't get to attend the Maple Leaf Parade, but I know it was wonderful as usual. Julie does a great job, and I really have no other report. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ms. Cox.
Thank you, Your Honor. As everybody else has said, the Maple Leaf festivities went off very successfully, and Julie has worked very hard to grow the events that are associated with Maple Leaf, and so kudos to her for what she's done for the community. And I know that our employees have helped out tremendously in those efforts, and so has the water and electric employees. So as Ms. Cossey had stated, we did have a meeting with the Humane Society. I just want to explain some of the problems with funding on the Humane Society. Those funds they come out of what's called the Public Health Fund, which is also the recycling center. And we've had a lot of additional expenses thanks to the hard work of our code enforcement individuals. When they tear down a building or mow the yards and all of that, it increases the expenses. And I have talked to the budget committee about appropriating additional funds if that does go over, because that's a good thing. That means that they're doing their job and working really hard. And so the Public Health Fund is borderline sustaining. So in order to increase funds for the Humane Society, we would not be sustainable within the Public Health Fund. So we need to figure out a way to come up with the funds out of the general fund. And I truly believe, and I know everyone else, you know, that was in that meeting believes that we need to do something to help them. So we are going to be looking at the budget to come up with a way to give them additional funds to make sure that they succeed. So what are some of their problems? They say that they do not have enough money for payroll. Payroll is their biggest expense. They have a lot of individuals, you know, that work part-time to come out and take care of the animals. They explain, you know, all of the different duties. It's not just an 8 to 5 job. They have to, you know, bottle feed some of the animals, you know, the little tiny kittens and everything that are there. But they do get the dog food donated by Blue Buffalo, but they do not have any donations coming in for the cat food. Want to help? Cat food is always needed out there. You can volunteer your time, so that might reduce some of the payroll. But right now there is a big campaign on the donations, and they are receiving a lot. Don't do a one-time donation. Do a monthly donation. We could set something up even as the city for the employees that wanted to donate, you know, out of their paycheck. We can do something like that. And I encourage, you know, any other business that if they have the desire to help out, encourage your employees to help the Humane Society, because they really do a lot for the community. Also, as Patrick said, it starts by working together. And if any of you have been around me in the last few months, you know that is exactly what I've been trying to do, is work together. I commend the water and electric employees, the electric employees that went to Florida. I commend the employees that are working out in the heat. But guess what? We have our own employees that do that as well. We work together. I know our fire department has worked with the electric employees. All of us, we do work together. We do get along. We support each other. It is amazing. We have great public servants, and that's something to be proud of. I mean, we are very fortunate that the community has the public servants that we have. And if there is anything that we can do, you know, to help mend fences, please let me know, because I am definitely open, and I have definitely made that, you know, one of my goals to try and help mend this community, because there's so much potential. There's so many positive things going on that should be in the forefront of everyone's mind instead of the division. And like Patrick said, and others have said, we just have to pray really hard and get back on track, but continue to work together. So that's all I have tonight.
All right, thank you. Mr. Gold, anything?
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
All right, we'll move on to reported claims against the city.
The Committee on Claims filed a report in the amount of $2,414,871.22.
I'd like to move that we accept the claims as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to accept the claims and allow payment. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We'll move on to old business.
Tom, I don't think you're logged in. Can you exit out of your agenda and try to join the meeting?
Did you say me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have to go down. I did, so I thought I did right, so did I do it too early?
I've had it on there since about 6 o'clock.
Very sorry. Join meeting. Now, take a look.
There you go.
All right. Sorry about that.
Okay, the second reading of Council Bill 2451, an ordinance accepting the final plat of the urban living subdivision generally located south of Windy Lane and West River Street in the city of Carthage, Missouri, as requested by Building Carthage LLC.
Any discussions? Cast your vote. Council bill passes.
And the next item was tabled from the last meeting. Consider and discuss a date for a council work session.
And I don't believe I have new dates yet from Carthage Water and Electric as to what would work for them. So I would want to get a date that was good. Do we have any proposals from the council on what would work? Next week, I think, is out for various reasons. So it would have to be the week after. Week of November 5th. So the 5th is election day. That one's probably out. What meetings do we have? Do we have something scheduled for the 4th that would preclude
I'm looking to
us?
see when
P&Z meets this month.
the 7th, okay? I do not believe we have anything scheduled for November 4th.
Okay. So we may want to come up with 3 good dates that work, and then we could propose those to Carthage Water and Electric, and then have them select. So I would propose, November 4th, November 6th?
November 6th, they have the Citizens Academy on
Oh,
Wednesdays at
Citizens.
CWP.
Okay. And then what about the 7th? Do we have anything scheduled for the 7th?
Planning and zoning is the 7th.
Okay. And then I think
The 11th and 12th are budget and council.
in council.
The
And then
11th's a holiday, so
Veterans
for the
Day.
city.
Oh, that's right.
And then the 13th, again, we're back into Citizens Academy.
Yes, 14th.
So the 14th. And let's see, is there anything scheduled for the council on the 18th?
Public safety.
Public safety. And then services is the 19th, 20th is Citizens Academy. So 21st, so November 4th, 14th, and 21st.
Now, what time? Because they have their board meeting, CWP, that day at 3 o'clock, 3 to 5.
Okay, so perhaps not the 21st. How about the 25th? Do we have anything the 4th Monday of November?
The 21st might be an option because all of the board members would be in town.
Okay.
So it might be more likely that they're available on the 21st.
Okay.
If that is something that they would want to do.
Okay. So for all of those dates, I would propose starting at 6 p.m. That gives everybody an opportunity to get off of work and get here. Does anyone have an issue with November 4th, 14th, or 21st?
No.
Okay. So my proposal would be that we set the date that we propose those 3 dates to Carthage Water and Electric, allow them to choose the date that works best for the majority of their board, and then to have that date scheduled by either Ms. Steele or Ms. Cox when they hear back from CWEP. And so that's the proposal. Or that's my
That was
motion.
the 4th, 14th, and the 21st,
And the 21st?
6 p.m., right?
Yeah.
Lori, did you have something on the 4th?
That's what I was just gonna say, if by chance they keep us in Minnesota, then we would be gone. So I did do absentee voting, just in case, because I don't know if they'll end up scheduling any kind of a procedure. So, but I mean, I know it'd be important, it'd be nice to be able to be a part of it, but I don't want to hold everyone else's schedules.
Okay. We can pick another date as the 3rd date, so with the 21st, and then that next week is the week of Thanksgiving.
And the 26th is Sparkle in the Park. They'll be.
Okay. Well, the 25th, does anyone have a conflict on the 25th?
Whatever that first Monday is will be.
25th is the first Monday.
Well,
I mean, it's the Monday that week.
Of November.
It's the fourth Monday of November.
That's the Sparkle, I'm sorry. I moved
Oh, the 25th is Sparkle in the Park?
The first Monday.
Okay.
Or the Monday before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
That's 25th.
So I think I said 26th earlier. It's 25th is Sparkle in the Park.
And then 26th is council meeting, and 27th is the day before Thanksgiving. So maybe we just propose the 2 dates, the 14th and the 21st. That is my motion. I motion that we propose the dates of November 14th and 21st. We hear back from Carthage Water and Electric which one would work best. They notify either Ms. Cox or Ms. Deal, and they notify the council and the public of which date is chosen for the work session.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to offer up the November 14th and the 21st as a potential dates for a work session, both dates beginning at 6 p.m. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, we'll move on to new business.
The first reading of Council Bill 2452, an ordinance amending the annual operating and capital budget of the City of Carthage for fiscal year 2024-2025 for specified funds, general fund, golf fund, and use tax fund.
Any discussion? All right.
And the next item is to discuss the Peachtree CID.
Any discussion with that?
Okay, yes. So the Committee on Insurance Audit and Claims met this evening, and we had a discussion. We will be making a request to the state to find out how much sales tax was dispersed to them. So for those of you who don't know what the Peachtree Village CID is, CID stands for Community Improvement District. It's the area out to the south part of town where the newer McDonald's is, where Big Ben's is, that area out there. And the McDonald's isn't in it, but it's that general area. And there is a special sales tax that is levied on businesses in that area, in that district. And it's a 1% sales tax. Per the contract that they signed with the city, 1/2 of that is to come to the city to reimburse us for expenditures that we have made for improvements. The CID receives the payments, and they are supposed to forward 1/2 of those payments to us quarterly. That has not been occurring. The payments have been sporadic. Ms. Cox looked up when we received payments. We received a payment in 2013, a payment in 2016, a payment in 2018, and a payment in 2023. We're supposed to be getting 4 payments per year. Now I will say that the payments that we've been getting are larger than what the quarterly amount would be. And one of the things that we're looking into is what the amount is that should have been coming to the city, and if anything is still remaining due and owing. I will say that this was something that was brought to my attention, I think inadvertently, by a comment that someone made during a council meeting. I wasn't even aware that we had a CID or that we had funds that were supposed to be coming to us, and I think most people were unaware of this. I did ask our city administrator in, I believe, June or July of 2023 to look into this. We never received any amounts. We never made any progress on it. It was just kind of left on the back burner. And I would like to thank Ms. Cox for looking into this when I brought this up to her, for looking into these amounts. And so as it stands, we have a signed agreement from the person who is the chair of that CID with his permission for us to reach out and contact the state to get those amounts. It should make things much easier, and hopefully we will have a report by the time the next insurance audit and claims meeting occurs.
All right, thank you. We'll move on. Next appointment.
The mayor's appointment of Mike Doherty to the position of Ward 3 council member.
Your Honor, I move that we table this appointment until the November 12th City Council meeting.
I second that.
I have a motion and a second to table until the November 12th council meeting. Any discussion?
I'd like to know why we are tabling it at this point.
I've had constituents reach out to me that have concerns based upon his prior attendance history when he was in the city council previously, and I'd like for some research to be conducted so that we know.
Right.
All right, motion and a second.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right. Closing comments, anything, Mr. Barlow?
No.
Ms. Cossey?
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Ms. Schramm?
Okay, I get to sing my praise for Maple Leaf. I held till the end so it wouldn't be convoluted with everybody else's. So I wanted to thank Julie Reams, the president and CEO of Carthage Chamber. Julie and her volunteers work tirelessly to give a gift to the city each year. Her chairperson is Alice Coram, and she works right along with her husband, Brian Coram. I never knew how many hours that they worked and are there late and coordinating vendors and helping with this event. Among all the other volunteers, it's an amazing event for the city. Jason even told us at the Public Safety Committee meeting that there's a truck stationed at the tractor pull, and the person that was supposed to be out there with the emergency truck couldn't make it, and he even worked half the shift. So everybody pitches in, so I want to thank you for that. I had attended the chili cook-off and the dog show, and many of the volunteers from the Carthage Humane Society were there showing the dogs, and it was an amazing turnout for them. And they were out there around getting up donations for the shelter, and I wanted to thank all the volunteers from the Carthage Humane Society for that event. Taco Tuesday, if you haven't gone, there was plenty of food. You didn't go hungry. It was $10 for 6 tickets. You couldn't eat all 6 tacos. It was fantastic. Maria Sanchez did a great job of organizing that event. The members only concert on Friday, we went to it with our grandchildren and our son, and everybody was dancing and enjoying. The weather was beautiful. The band was timeless. It was a great event. And we took our grandchildren to the fire station on Saturday morning to eat pancakes. That was a lovely, well-run event. I'm glad they ate their pancakes before they let them get in the fire truck, though, because they would have never eaten. That was wonderful. It's well-run, and thank you so much for all of your firemen and personnel that got up early to feed everybody. The Maple Leaf Parade was for our granddaughter Tilly's 3rd birthday on Saturday. She thought that that parade was for her birthday, so I wanted to thank Julie for that. It was a well-organized event, and if anybody has any complaints whatsoever, tell me, and I'll put you on the volunteer list next year to help solve those issues. Our family also attended the car show, and they loved it. Every year we try to go to as many events as we can. We can't possibly go to them all. There's so many. I don't know how she does it. And again, I walked the ward on Saturday with Miss Cossey and Patrick Scott, and I want to tell you how welcoming people were and wanted to hear the truth and the side of the story. And I believe Miss Cossey gives so many hours pro bono from her profession to help the city council, hours that you'll never know of and never be accounted for. She's an asset for our city council, so thank you.
Mr. Taylor, anything?
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Mr. Peterson?
I was going to make a comment about Friday night's football game, but I'll leave that for Mr. Smith. Nothing further tonight.
I wasn't there.
Oh, yeah, shoot. Well, we beat Webb City. That's always a good lead into Maple Leaf, so nothing further.
All right. Ms. Lees?
I had a good time with the Maple Leaf festivities. I went out to the chicken contest too, and I wore my overalls. I looked very nice. My husband would not let me wear them to council tonight. I did ask. But thanks to everybody for all the hard work. I mean, this whole town just puts it on great. And then the hospitality just being shown to people from the businesses up on the square. My husband got a big set of wind chimes that he's really excited about, and it was just a good week. So thank you, everyone.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Headmaster?
So, we all love Maple Leaf. We all participated. one of my favorite things was Jason Martin's son waving like he was running for president of the United States out of the fire chief's vehicle. I also wanted to mention that I too attended the last meeting of the CWNEP board. And one of the things that Chuck said was that when the CWNE team goes into these communities that need disaster relief and the expertise of linemen, that sometimes they are in water up to their waist and they're trying to connect lines. They sleep on cots. This is not a vacation for them. This is working in perilous conditions. So much appreciated, just as we appreciate Carthage Police, our Streets Department, our Fire Department, just all of the divisions of the city, including Ms. Cox, that's working a gazillion hours a week. And I thank her. That's all.
And don't forget the crocodiles, the scare of the crocodiles for the water and electric boats.
True.
That was a cat. It wasn't a crocodile.
Mr. Snow, anything?
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be in town last weekend. I had to go to a wedding in Kansas, and so I missed all the events. I'm sure I will look forward to next year, and I'll look forward to beating Webb City again next year. So at this time, motion to adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?